The moment people get frustrated working with you, know that you are in a bad place, and it might be very hard for you to convince them that you can still do good. Hi, my name is Samuel Mugabi. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for following. Thank you so much for sharing. And just in case it is your first time to be on this platform, please kindly share. Today I have a very interesting topic that I want us to talk about. Something that has been so much on my mind lately. Being a volunteer in several organizations and a professional social worker, there is a subject that I feel is very important, which many people overlook and they don't pay attention to. Yet it is very key for any growing organization and for any organization to prosper, and that is communication. What do you understand by communication? How are you communicating with your people? How are you responding when your subordinates are saying something? Because how you communicate with them is going to determine so much the progress and the efficiency of your company. Now, we have a problem with people. Specifically today, I want to talk about texting. Texting, especially through WhatsApp, because some organizations in the long run, they have come up with different platforms on how they can communicate, and they have decided to use that. They've chosen to communicate through text messages, through WhatsApp, through email, and phone calls sometimes. But of late, communication has been much faster and more convenient through texting. Here is where the problem comes in. The problem comes where the people that you are working with send you a message and you delay the reply. You may tell me that, yeah, I delay the reply because I'm so busy, I don't have time to look at my WhatsApp or to look at my text messages because, you know, I am running a lot of errands and, you know, I'll look at them whenever I wish. Now, the problem that you're going to face when you are that kind of person is eventually you are going to accumulate a whole big backlog that at some point you're going to be, that at some point your table is going to be very full, that you will not be able to perform to the efficiency. And when you delay to respond to people's messages, it not only affects you, but it affects the entire organization, because this is like a teamwork. It's like teamwork. Like when I throw you the ball, you are supposed to use the ball with whatever you're supposed to do. And after that, you pass it on to someone. When I do my tasks, I expect you to also do yours, because when you don't do yours, it is definitely going to affect my responsibilities. And at the end of the day, it is going to affect the rest of the team. What is going to happen next? We are going to have failure. We are going to compromise efficiency in the company, in the organization, in our families. It is very important, because I'm sure whenever, like by the time someone sends you a message, they have an emergency, there is something that they want to communicate, there is something that they want to pass on, there is an inquiry that they want to make. And whatever your response is going to determine what these people are supposed to do. For example, you might have given people assignments and tasks and you expect them to fulfill them. But then when they ask you a question about a task that you have given them, and maybe they need clarification, and because you seem too busy to reply or to respond on time, they will definitely not do it on time. They will definitely first be on hold and until you think about it to respond to them. At that point, you're not going to have a right to tell them that you're not performing to our expectations. Why? Because you have contributed to their failure. Now, my opinion is, do everything possible to see that you respond to people's texts respond to people's messages, because it's not that they are idle. I know of people who intentionally refuse, I'll call it intentional, who refuse to pick people's calls because they are too busy, and I understand that, I respect that, because that's their lifestyle. But then it gets worse when they say that they can't even respond to anyone's messages until much later in the day. But you are in a senior position, even if you're not in a senior position, but you know you are working with a team. When you know that you are working with a team, it means that you must always do everything possible to keep checking with those groups where you are communicating with the people that you work with, because there is a communication that will come, and at some point it might even go without you noticing, and you will have no right whatsoever to blame the people of the information that you lost. So we want our organizations to grow, we want our companies to grow. Let's do everything possible to say that we respect communication, because it is very key. You fail to do that, it is going to affect the efficiency of your organization. It is going to affect the people, the teamwork. It is going to even affect your relationships. Some people are failing in relationships because their counterparts, their partners are not responding. They are acting very cold. They have all the time to respond to other people's messages, but they won't respond to the message of the people that they say that they value so much. So if we want to have good relationships, we want to be very effective in everything that we do, communication is very important. Some people need, because through communication we set our goals very clear, we set our expectations clear. If you don't set your expectations clear, the people that you work with will never perform to your expectation. They will never perform to the expectation of the organization, of your company. And once the business fails, you will not have any right to blame someone. So while we talk all this, please check yourself, do a self-check, ask yourself, how is my response with the people that I work with? How is my communication? Am I using the right English? Am I using the right Luganda? Am I using the right words to pass on the communication? Am I clear and precise to the point? And also to the people that are sending messages or that are making a phone call, if you choose to make a phone call, make sure that you are precise to the point, especially when it is business. Make sure that you are very precise, because people do not have time one of these days. We don't have time. Nobody has time to be there, so you can say this and that and that and that, Make sure that you have your message very brief, very precise, very clear, so that the person can understand what exactly you need to communicate, so that they can give you the response as you may require it. Otherwise, if you choose to say any information, if you choose to text any information that is unnecessary, nobody is going to read long texts. Personally, I'm one of those people who don't want to take a lot of time reading a message, and then you write everything, so many lines, and at the bottom, that's where the gist or the message is. I prefer you saying, "Hi Sam," and you put across your message, you mention what you want, and boom, I'll give you a response as fast as possible. But if I have to read a whole 4 or 5 paragraphs before I understand the gist in your message, then we're going to have a problem, and I might equally not respond on time, because I have to understand, I have to internalize everything that you're trying to communicate in this message. So communication is important. Communication is very important. Communication with your spouse, communication with your boss, with your subordinates, it's very important. Communication with your leader. I don't know, many leaders, many people are being fired from the job, not because they don't qualify for the job, but because they are poor communicators. They don't communicate as it is supposed to be. They write poor English, the grammar is wrong, the punctuation is very wrong, Another day we will come and talk about all that, because it's all very important. It's part of communication. Personally, I have a problem reading poorly written grammar. If the grammar is not so clear, I'll have a problem adding and joining the words together so I can understand what this person was trying to mean. but let us check our communication. How am I communicating? How effective am I? Because if I delay to respond to the people that reach out to me, I am definitely going to affect their efficiency, and not only theirs, but I'm also going to compromise mine. What is going to happen next? Eventually, people are going to stop working with us. People are going to be frustrated. Poor communication causes a lot of frustration. The moment people get frustrated working with you, know that you are in a bad place, and it might be very hard for you to convince them that you can still do good. Thank you so much for following. Until next time, check your communication and we'll be back. God bless you.